broke as hell. Just cause I'm a content creator don't mean I'm rich, nigga.
Where all my broke content creators at? One check a month, that's dead. All that work for that little that's paid. How the fuck that shit get this way? Broke as hell, but that's okay. At least I'm on you for you pay. Niggas thinking that I'm rich as hell. Hell no, we broke this way. Broke as shit, 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 broke as shit.
Kids with kids. We got kids out here with kids. Ain't it something? You see that in the background? He don't need to have no kids right now. Already messing his life up before it even gets started. Before we get started, y'all, if you could like the video, greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you can hype the video as well. All right, so this next clip, it looks like
I quit my job.
There we go. She quit her job to become a content creator. So let's go ahead and get back into it.
I quit my job to become a full-time content creator, and honestly, I'm so happy I did. Making that decision felt scary, but it also felt aligned. Since then, new opportunities have come my way, new rooms, new conversations, and I'm genuinely excited for this new chapter of my life. This is something I prayed for, something I worked toward. But let me keep it real with you. Ever since I made that leap, it's almost like the algorithm said, "Oh, you serious now? My views have been low, engagement hasn't been what it used to be, and some days it feels like
That's important. We got to come back to that.
oh, you serious now? My views have been low, engagement hasn't been what it used to be, and some days it feels like I'm starting all over again on my own platform." And that part nobody really talks about. Betting on yourself sounds glamorous, but it also requires resilience. It requires faith when the numbers don't match the vision. But I am not discouraged at all. If anything, I see it as a challenge, and I've always overcome challenges. Every level of my life has required me to stretch, to grow, and to push past doubt. So this is just another level, and I'm ready for it. I quit my job.
So I said we're going to come back to it.
Nobody really talks about. Betting on your my views have been low, engagement hasn't been what it used to be.
You quit your job, and now all of a sudden, the views are getting low. You left your job because you felt like you was on a heat streak, which, funny enough, in most cases, people just have one good month, and then all of a sudden they think that's going to be every other month. They never can foresee that things can go down. Whenever people are taking these leaps of faith and doing ultimately what they want to do, they always have to be so optimistic about it, right? That's typically what we see. And so that's obviously what she did. But as she continued her B-roll throughout that video, as you can see, she did not lower her lifestyle whatsoever. If anything, she started doing more. So let me get this straight. You done quit your job. And those views were horrible, especially for TikTok. So off these views, off these views, you ain't getting no money. Maybe you got a brand deal or something, but why would they even want to be with you if you ain't really getting no views? That ain't gonna move the needle. So you quit your job, but you didn't lower your lifestyle. It's funny too. It's the funny thing about it is that people will get into volatile, maybe careers or maybe endeavors, businesses, whatever. Business is volatile by nature. It can be, especially when you're trying to get off the ground. But yet they don't see it as, okay, if I have a good month, maybe I can do a little bit extra. Maybe I can, have a little bit better quality that month. But if I have a bad month, then what that means is I might not be able to do anything that month. And I feel like that would actually be a powerful incentivization mechanism in order to get you to actually come up to par if this is ultimately what you want to do. If you don't hunt, you don't eat. And so I feel like by you fluctuating your life along with your business, because if you decided to quit your job and do this full time, then this is your business now. Guess what? In those low dips, in those low seasons, that means you got to lock in and you got to figure out how to get some motion again and how to figure out how to make things start working again and start clicking again. And at the same time, not spending any money that's ultimately not coming in. You're spending money, but you don't have money coming in. How much sense does that make? That's just my opinion, though. Again, y'all, if you could like the video, only takes a second, and it helps out more than you know. She quit her job as well to be a content creator. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I quit my job today. I quit my barista job. Fuck being a barista. Fuck making coffee. I don't want to make coffee for rich adults and suburban moms who yell at me all the time. Oh, this coffee didn't taste right. Oh, I'm about to throw it in your face because I literally just made it and it was perfect. Oh, whoa, this tastes like extra sweet and it's not extra sweet. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I quit. I quit. I'm following my dreams. I'm doing Twitch and YouTube and social media full time. I've been doing YouTube for like 4 years now, but I haven't really.
You know, I forget about that. That's an aspect, especially of customer service. It's funny. I'll get my stuff sometimes, my orders. I mean, unless it's just real egregious, like a food order and it's spoiled or something, I'll just take it in stride, especially when it comes to coffee. If you mess up my coffee, if it doesn't taste exactly how I want it, I just drink it anyway. I don't really moan about it, but I forget that that's very common in customer service, that I'm sure people are super particular and they want you to make it specifically a certain way that they're used to. And yeah, I don't think that's a good enough reason to quit your job to become a content creator, because you're quitting your job because of external circumstances out of your control. If it's one thing to say my content's doing great and I can quit my job, it's another thing to just say I don't like my job right now because of XYZ, so I'm gonna quit my job and become a full-time content creator. Worst case scenario, if things are so bad to that extent, what you should have been saying, what the caption should have read was, I'm quitting my job to get another job. But people will find any opportunity to try to become a content creator and ultimately just do whatever they want and live this type of lifestyle right here, where they're just sitting out at the pool doing nothing. And this is probably going to be her content for the day. And then she's not going to do nothing else.
Years now, but I haven't really been as consistent as I've wanted to be because I've had this fuck ass 9 to 5 barista job that, just consumes my well-being, consumes a lot of things. And you know what? I feel free. I feel like a bird. I feel like I can do whatever I want. I feel like a hummingbird. Look at that. Yep, I feel like a freaking little hummingbird. We're free, baby. We're free. Feels good, and I'd do it again, and I'd quit right now. I knew I wasn't going to wake up for my barista shift at 4 a.m. today. I just knew it. I was like, you know what? If you're scared to take
You
a
did it
chance on
today?
yourself, do it. Because no one is going to take a chance on you but you. Let's freaking go! Cheers, Buccaneers. No tears. I am eating ice cream for breakfast, but it's protein Ninja Creamy ice cream. Yeah, I quit.
Wow. So this was spur of the moment. So what it really was, she felt friction when she woke up in the morning. She felt friction when she woke up in the morning, and I feel like it was laziness. She didn't feel like going to work and having to deal with people. And so she just quit. And so right now it seems glamorous. She's talking about, let's go. She's trying to hype herself up. That's what you'll see with athletes or something when they're anxious about performing. And they'll like smack themselves on the face and start, because they're not very confident. They're anxious. It's that doubt starting to creep in. So they have to stay stimulated so that they don't just stay still and then start spiraling within their own thoughts. And so that's why she had to pick up this camera. But guess what? I tell you what, how about this? Because she filmed this on June 25th. She filmed this on June 25th. Let's find a recent video because she quit her job. Let's see. Just the most recent. Let's see.
Look, I feel like a part of eating healthy is just guessing, and I am heating up chicken broth in this bowl, and then I'm gonna put some leftover rice.
She ain't talking about nothing. Y'all couldn't see it anyway. She ain't doing nothing. You see, she just got nothing
In
but
the
idle
chicken.
time. And she ain't got nothing but idle time. It ain't gonna work out, man. Well, I hope
Brand
it
is
does,
how I
but
was able.
I wish you the best. But all in all, the odds aren't in your favor. Her caption says, "How I was able to quit my corporate job and be okay financially."
Being cringe on the internet changed my life. And building a personal brand is how I was able to quit my corporate job. And I know personal brand sounds corporate-y and cringe, but cringe is a gateway to opportunity, and I have the receipts. December 2022, something happened at work that broke my heart and pissed me off. Hell hath no fury like a pissed off Aries. I text my friend group that night. My New Year's resolution is to leave corporate America by the end of next year. 3 days later, my first TikTok went viral. 30,000 views, 4K likes. Christmas Eve, I posted again, 130,000 views. I went from a couple of hundred followers to 10,000 by the time the clock struck 12 on New Year's Day 2023. I rode that wave and never looked back. These weren't my first posts. My first posts were from someone hiding on the internet. In 2023, I landed my first brand deal, $100 for a video. I said, hell yeah. When they came back for another video, I said, I'll do it, but for $150. Not life-changing money, but life-changing proof that this was real. I made $15,000 that year from my side hustle. Not enough to quit my job, but it only got bigger from there. By the end of 2023, I had gained 90,000 followers on TikTok from showing up consistently, and I decided to start posting more on Instagram. By June of 2024, I had 15,000 folks following me on Instagram. By September, 100,000 people. The Millennial Manager was born, and it popped off. 2 platforms meant bigger rates, bigger
That's
reach. In
that's impressive.
2024, I made 6 figures from posting content. I also signed with my
That's impressive. Oh, she signed with a management team. Uh-oh. But that's impressive. But at the same time, I'm noticing a lot of people will do that. They'll pair TikTok with Instagram because it's pretty much similar platforms, but I didn't hear her say YouTube. So it seems like she excels more in the short form content, even the way that this video is lined up or structured, I should say. I would think she would do well in long form, but maybe she can't talk about a subject for too long. Maybe it caps out at a certain point and she just doesn't like it. She feels more comfortable doing it this way, as well as she can have more variety and versatility in different styles of videos. But all in all, no matter what, that's really impressive for her to have multi-platform success, irregardless of TikTok and Instagram both being similar. That's impressive, especially 100,000.
In 2024, I made 6 figures from posting content. I also signed with my management team that year, and that is 100% what caused my revenue to pop off. Shout out to my management team. 2025, I launched coaching and consulting and a digital product. I needed to diversify my income and then added
Product. Okay.
LinkedIn to the mix because I wanted to be a thought leader
Mm.
there as well. LinkedIn was the last platform I tried growing on though because I still worked in corporate and I was afraid of being seen trying over there. But
Hmm.
it worked. 3 platforms, a growing audience, speaking gigs, travel, features, which
Wow.
led to August 2025. I clocked out of corporate. This whole journey made me rethink how much of my time I'm willing to exchange for money. And if you're watching this, you're probably asking yourself the same thing. That's why I'm building SlowFi, which is a platform to help you do the same.
All right. So now we're getting to the sales pitch. But all in all, that was pretty cool. But I like the fact that she showed that this was a gradual process. And it even seemed like throughout that process, she still had her job. She scaled it up gradually and slowly to a point to where it was able to be sustainable and it started to have a clear outlook. And like I always say, it started to act, her job probably actually started to become an opportunity cost because as you can see now she's doing conferences, she's traveling, all type of things. So her job was actually costing her money to stay there. And I believe that's the way that you do it. You don't just wake up and decide you're not going to go to your barista job and then sit at the pool all day eating ice cream. That's not how you do it. this is how you do it. If you're going to do it gradually. But yeah, I can see a case for her because I would say probably with everything she has going on and now she's with a management team, her job just became a constraint that was preventing her to be able to continue scaling what she had already established with her content.
I could easily make $10,000 a month on the internet just by posting my silly little
She said, I'm broke as a content creator. That's the
on the
caption.
internet just by posting my silly little videos. And then something happened, or someone happened, shall I say. But I've never felt comfortable talking about it because I don't want to get demonetized again. Fortunately, this has never been my main source of income. I've always had like minimum 2 jobs, usually 3. I don't know. I've just always thought like multiple streams of income feels safer. And I never, ever wanted to rely on TikTok to be my main source. So with all of that being said, if you are an up and coming content creator, be careful. I would not quit my regular job. Like, just being like so for real, like I would never put my entire livelihood in content creation. And don't get me wrong, like it was really nice making those paychecks. I, have a beautiful house. I bought a brand new Jeep. I've gotten to do so many things. I traveled to like 15 states last year, something crazy like that. And then all of a sudden, some girl with over 1 million followers told people to block me and told people to report me.
Wow.
Lost it all. I went from, and again,
That's crazy. But yeah, things like this can happen. It's what we don't talk about. It'll be other content creators trying to get you off the board too, is what you'll find. But here's the thing. I like the fact that she said it sounded like she kept her job and she was taking that money, her content money, and she was just doing extra things she wanted. She wanted a new Jeep, so she didn't use her stable income money. She used her content money. And that's what I feel. I feel like in most cases, a content creator should have a job and do content again until it becomes an opportunity cost. And so that you don't ever have regret, because it doesn't just have to happen where somebody sabotages you. It can also happen to where your views, just like that other woman who she said once she quit her job, her views slowed down. The algorithm could turn against you. Views can slow down. People can get fatigued by your type of content. Maybe you haven't switched things up, changed things up, adapted with the evolving landscape and the new environment, the new content environment, whatever. And so your revenue could drop 100%. But then what? Hopefully you can look back on all those months when you were popping, and hopefully you can say, I retained a significant portion of that. And by retained a significant portion, man, remember, you got your full-time job. So this is extra money. So you should be retaining something, in my opinion. You should be retaining something so that if anything ever happens, even if your channel gets taken, whatever, you can say, well, I made, let's just, for easy numbers, say you made 100 grand. You can be like, well, I still got 60 of that 100 in the bank or in an asset in a house. I put it on as a down payment on my house. Not just blowing it because I feel like the well will never dry up. But a lot of people look at it, they start getting the money. They're like, ooh, this money's going to always come. It's going to always be here. And it's going to always increase. So I could spend this because by this time I'm going to be all the way up here. And you can't predict that. You don't know what could happen.
lost it all. I went from, and again, I had another job, okay? But I went from making thousands of dollars a month to I lost 10,000 followers. I got demonetized for, I think I was put on like a 90-day probation or something like that. Made $0 on the internet. And my views tanked. I have almost 500,000 followers and I barely make 1,000 views now. And my content has not, I mean, like it shifted a little bit for like a second, but like if anything, my content to me is more interesting now than it was back then. So yeah, this is just my PSA to you to not put your entire livelihood in the hands of TikTok and content creation.
And there's a lot of variables that can immediately halt and stunt your growth as far as your content. There's a lot of variables. Let me tell you something. Well, I'll just say this. If you're not consistent, it can stunt your growth. Take a week off, see what happens. If you change up your format in any way, it can stunt your growth. And like she said, you get into a beef or something, anything, it could stunt your growth. Or maybe somebody could try to take your channel down, anything. It's a lot of things that could happen. And another thing that people don't think about, maybe the way that you do content, maybe a new rule and regulation comes out that affects the way that you create your content. For example, there was starting to become a lot of AI generated channels. Channels who were on YouTube, I'm referring to. Channels who were just creating videos using AI. And it wasn't real people. It wasn't actually creativity. These were just AI generated videos. And that's as effortless as it can get. And how can regular people like you and I compete with somebody who's just continuing to push out videos just using AI? You can't. And so YouTube has been clamping down on AI, and YouTube isn't very much in favor of AI generated content for a lot of reasons. So they can make rules saying that those videos don't get monetized. They can make rules saying that anything, those videos get less money, whatever. And so they can change the entire landscape. And so you could be feeling like, okay, I'm the future. I'm on the cutting edge. I'm about to start doing this AI generated content, and I'm about to rake in all the dough. Maybe you quit your job. You're like, I'm gonna be an AI content creator. And then all of a sudden, regulation come down. And now you're ish out of luck. Well, hopefully while you was taking advantage, hopefully you retain some of that so that you don't just have full regrets. You can at least say, well, I took advantage of a period. The period's over. Now I have to pivot to something else. But if you're not doing that, then it's going to hurt twice as bad. Again, if you could like the video.
This is going to be an interesting video.
His caption said, I quit my job a year ago.
Because today is May 2nd, 2026. May 2nd is important because a year ago today, I quit my job to become a full-time content creator. I wasn't going to say anything. A few people know about this. Most people don't. Some of y'all kind of figured it out. But, you know, I've been doing this for a living for a whole year, and I have no regrets. I have made several videos telling people not to quit their jobs to pursue content creation as a career unless it makes sense. And luckily for me, it started making sense. So I made a decision, and now here I am. I have not skipped a beat. My life has been amazing. I'm not homeless. I'm not starving. I can still afford my iced coffee every day. I'm on my way to the coffee shop right now, actually. If you want to be like a content creator or an influencer or anything, you have got to do the work. You got to be consistent. You got to show up every single day.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, I'm going to be honest. From what I'm picking up from him, it seems like he could have probably did both. But instead, he just wanted to have his time. He's just like, well, I can still afford everything like when I had my job. So he might be surviving with content with a little extra to be able to do the nice things every once in a while, which in my opinion is not getting ahead in life. If you'd have kept your job, and then if your content money, let's say your job pays you $70,000, but then you start making $60,000 with content. Why not have just had both? You was living off your job. Now you can stash $60,000 a year. Maybe you spend a little bit extra of that. You stash 40. And then you can even reinvest some of that into your content. And you don't have to feel like when you're doing content it's all or nothing. You don't have to feel so attached to it as far as you have a bad month and now it's like, what am I doing? But here's the most important thing too, because if you pick in a profession, and a profession ideally is something where your years of experience is what dictates your value. Do you want the plumber that's been doing it for 10 years or do you want the plumber that's been doing it for 6 months? Do you want the attorney fighting on your behalf who's been doing it for 20 years? Or do you want the attorney fighting on your behalf that's been doing it 2 years, just got out of school? I think y'all get my point. So you could have two things going at once. You could be making all that money for 10 years, extra money on content, still keep your job. And then 10 years later, you'll have 10 years of experience in a profession that also makes you valuable and ultimately diversifies your capabilities and the way that you're going to be able to move and traverse through life. Maybe at that point, you can be like, cool, I can I can do content and quit my job because I'm quitting my job because I'm about to become a consultant in my profession that I've been doing for 10 years. It just gives you more options. And right now, the world hasn't ever been more, well, I'm not going to say it's never been more volatile than what it is, but it's very volatile. It's very uncertain. Things are very much up in the air and you can't predict it, especially with AI coming into the picture, AI coming into the fold. So you want to be diversified as best as possible to be able to have some type of stability and sustainability moving forward into the future and beyond.
Be consistent. You got to show up every single day. You can't skip a day. Ain't no vacations. You can fund your vacations, but you can't take no vacations. Even on vacation, you still working, but it's worth it. You
It's
also
worth
got
it,
to
yeah.
find some stuff to talk about that you genuinely enjoy, stuff that you really like, stuff that really makes you happy, because that just makes it that much easier. But
That's true.
I'm super grateful for all the opportunities I've gotten, the things I get invited to, the free shit I get. I would have never in a million years imagined that my life could be like this. You hear a lot of horror stories about people who made this decision, and those stories are valid, but that's not everybody's story. You just got to make the right decisions, use your common sense, use your discernment, be
Yeah.
patient, don't be rushing into stuff, don't let anybody try to rush you into anything. Take your time, do the research, and make some good content because it will pay you off. Trust.
That's pretty good advice. That's pretty good advice. What I really want to flag in his advice is that basically nobody's going to be able to make the decision for you. This is just adulting. You know, the art of adulting has become lost. But yes, when you get out here and you start to get autonomy, you can make whatever decisions that you want. And we see it all the time. We see it with people choosing to get evicted, not pay their rent, choosing to have all these kids. And in today's video, the theme, choosing to quit their job and create content. And I don't care if your little supporters, your couple of supporters tell you, "Oh, this is great. We're going to get more of your time." Guess what? They can support you all they want, but you're going to have to live in your shoes and you're going to have to live and deal with your circumstance. So the decision is going to be on you. And it's also going to be based off your risk tolerance and also your knowledge of self. And by knowledge of self, I mean, some people take risks because they know that they're willing to work double time to be able to correct their risks. Some people are lazy and they ain't working double nothing. So if you know that you're like that, then you actually need to be not so risky. You need to be you need to take less risks. You need to, you know, you need to be more practical with what you do and ultimately more conventional in your choices. And anything else is extra, but you need to prioritize practicality, which will then lead into stability for you moving forward, as opposed to volatility. Listen, if you know that you're willing to do whatever it takes and you're committed, then maybe you can navigate chaos and volatility. But if you know that you barely want to work 40 hours, then you should stray away from that, and you should actually just stay conventional and really stay with something that's going to keep you in the routine, keep you into having good habits. And I feel like jobs are that. They keep you in a good routine, they keep you busy, they keep you productive. It has something that you have to show up for. I mean, be honest, y'all. When it's the weekend, you wake up late, don't you? Why you think that is? Or some people do. The reason is, but it's different when you know psychologically and subconsciously that you don't have to show up for something. It's the same thing when we were in school. When you had no problem waking up to go to school Monday through Friday. But when you psychologically technically know you don't have to show up for something, even if you want to wake up early, it just becomes a little bit harder. And so that's why I feel like a job is good. It'll keep you productive. It'll keep you with some good habits, doing some things. And I feel like you can leverage that to help you with content because it just keeps you in a very productive type of frame. And then you already have to manage your time more effectively. But I think we'll leave it there for today. Y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels. So that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So for that reason, it's usually best practice if you want to hype to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And also, if you want to become a member of the channel as well, join buttons on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments where it will show people that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and also exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. So again, if you want to become a member, join buttons on the video. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.